The sudden, untimely death of a music icon creates a unique sense of loss. In addition to grief, there's a feeling of lost potential, curiosity over what work they may have left behind, and, of course, a burning desire to know what they ate for their last meal. So, today we're going to take a look at the last meals of 10 music legends. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel. After that, leave a comment and let us know what other musical topics you would like to hear about. Okay? I hope you brought some slightly morbid appetite. Frank Sinatra was one of the most popular singers in American history, with hits including My Way, Strangers in the Night, New York, New York, and dozens more. Known as the chairman of the board and Old Blue Eyes, Frank became legendary as the leader of a clique of popular crooners nicknamed the Rat Pack. Think of them like a band that smoked and drank a lot, and occasionally performed music. The peak of his career lasted 3 decades, from the 1940s through the 1960s, during which time he sold over 150 million records and managed to churn out a slew of movies. By the time he reached old age, Sinatra was a late riser, often getting out of bed during the early afternoon. He ate a lot of grilled cheese sandwiches while enjoying the confines of his home in Palm Springs, and that culinary favorite wound up being his final meal. On May 14, 1998, the crooner went about his daily routine and had a grilled cheese sandwich, although he didn't finish the whole thing. Sinatra, who was in declining health, had a heart attack later that day and passed away at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. Ellen Naomi Cohen was born on September 19, 1941, but the world came to know her as Cass Elliot, or Mama Cass. She rose to fame with folk rock group The Mamas and the Papas, recording hits like California Dreamin', Monday Monday, and Words of Love, before going on to a successful solo career. According to a popular urban legend and a certain international man of mystery, Mama Cass fatally choked on a ham sandwich. However, that is not what really happened. In truth, there was a ham sandwich present in the room when her body was discovered on July 29, 1974, in London, but it wasn't the Sammy that did her in. Elliot struggled with her weight and was prone to periods of extreme fasts and binges. The damage this caused to her body was compounded by drug and alcohol abuse, though no drugs were found in her system. But her manager, Alan Carr, didn't know that at the time. He was desperate to squash any speculation that Elliot had succumbed to an overdose. So how did the ham sandwich rumor get started? Well, in order to explain Elliot's untimely death, Carr told journalist Sue Cameron that a half-eaten ham sandwich was found on Elliot's nightstand, and he pleaded with Cameron to report that the singer had asphyxiated on her final meal. Cameron obliged, and the story stuck. According to the coroner's report, what actually did Elliot in was a heart attack. Her bandmate, Papa John Phillips, said it succinctly in his autobiography. Her heart had just given out after 33 years, and that was some big heart. Nicknamed The Voice, Whitney Houston is one of the best-selling musical artists of all time. Her hits included I'm Every Woman, I Will Always Love You, The Greatest Love of All, and so many others it would take the rest of this episode to list them all. Seriously, she had enough platinum and gold records to wallpaper a decent-sized apartment. But behind the scenes, Houston lived a tumultuous life. She made her last public performance on February 9, 2012, when she joined R&B gospel singer Kelly Price at a show in Hollywood to sing Jesus Loves Me. She passed away 2 days later on February 11, 2012. Earlier that day, Houston ordered some room service in her suite at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, including a hamburger, fries, a turkey sandwich, champagne, and beer. That spread is believed to be the beloved singer's final meal. Elvis Presley is one of the most influential musicians in the history of the world and essentially created the template for rock star excess. Known as the King of Rock and Roll, Elvis began his career in 1954 and went to record a slew of hits, including Can't Help Falling in Love, Hound Dog, Jailhouse Rock, and about a zillion more. He also found time to star in almost 50 movies, most of which are, fine? Yeah, let's just say fine. Presley spent the day of August 15, 1977, with his daughter Lisa Marie at his Graceland home in Tennessee. The singer ate one of his favorite meals for dinner that night, spaghetti and meatballs. Afterward, Presley stayed up all night and reportedly downed 4 scoops of ice cream and 6 chocolate chip cookies around 4 a.m., which he followed up with some racquetball, like, everybody does. At this stage of his life, Elvis treated most of his meals like a 9-year-old's birthday party. So, all in all, it was a pretty great Last Supper for the king. Tragically, the singer's girlfriend, Ginger Alden, found him unresponsive on the bathroom floor during the early afternoon of August 16, 1977. Elvis had left the building for the last time. Born October 9, 1940, John Lennon joined with Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr to form arguably the most popular and influential band in the history of music, the Beatles. They were a huge influence on the Monkees. A prolific songwriter behind hits like Come Together, Imagine, and so many more, Lennon's body of work is almost unequaled in rock music history. Lennon was fatally shot in New York City on December 8, 1980. In the hours leading up to his death, Lennon stopped at the Stage Deli for lunch, where he ordered a corned beef sandwich and hot tea. This would be the former Beatles' last meal. After he finished eating, he went to the recording studio and worked with Yoko Ono on the song Walking on Thin Ice. As Lennon and Ono wrapped up, the latter asked if they should go grab some dinner. But Lennon, apparently still full from that deli corned beef, wanted to go straight home to tuck in their son, Sean. The rest, as they say, is history. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame describes Jimi Hendrix as arguably the greatest instrumentalist in the history of rock music. And they would know. Famous for songs like Purple Haze, The Wind Cries Mary, Little Wing, and Hey Joe, Hendrix's influence on subsequent generations of guitar players keeping their parents awake simply cannot be overstated. On the night of September 17, 1970, Hendrix's girlfriend, Monica Danneman, picked the guitarist up from a party in London. Around 3 a.m. on the 18th, she made them both tuna salad sandwiches. Tuna? At that hour? Whatever fuels those tasty licks, I guess. About an hour later, Hendrix said he couldn't sleep and asked for a sleeping pill. According to his girlfriend's statement, she didn't give him any drugs. And when she woke up the next morning, Hendrix appeared to have fallen asleep on his own. He never woke up. After she was unable to rouse him, Danneman called an ambulance, but it was too late. He was off shredding riffs and eating sandwiches in the big watchtower in the sky. Jim Morrison rose to fame as the singer of the psychedelic rock band The Doors. His rich baritone voice carried hits like Light My Fire, Break On Through, and Riders on the Storm, just to name a few. Competing theories exist about the end of Morrison's life, but, according to his longtime girlfriend, Pam Corson, he spent his last night with her enjoying dinner and a movie in Paris. They stopped for a bite of Chinese food at a restaurant on the Rue Saint-Antoine. Morrison reportedly opened his doors of perception with something of the sweet and sour variety, presumed to have been chicken, which he chased down with multiple beers. But whether it was pork, beef, or poultry, it turned out to be his last meal. During the early morning hours of July 3, 1971, Morrison suddenly passed away at the age of 27. As the singer, guitarist, and lead songwriter of Nirvana, one of the most enduring bands to come out of the Seattle grunge scene of the early 90s, Kurt Cobain penned tunes like Smells Like Teen Spirit, Come As You Are, and Heart-Shaped Box. The band reshaped rock music and cemented a legacy that lasts to this very day. Apparently, the very last thing Cobain consumed was root beer, but he ate his final known meal at the Cactus restaurant in Seattle. Cobain, accompanied by two friends, ordered a dessert item from the menu, bananas dulce. The sweet treat comprised flesh-seared bananas mixed with brown sugar and rum served over coconut ice cream. Oh, that actually sounds pretty good. Come as you are, sweet, sweet dessert. During their outing to the Cactus in early April 1994, Cobain and his associates sat outside and chatted about going to see a movie. Let's see, April 1994. Right. Let's assume they talked about seeing Major League 2. According to the restaurant's owner, Brett Chatalis, Cobain's credit card was declined, the result of his wife, Courtney Love, canceling them after Cobain left rehab. Cobain paid by check, and, while it was kind of gibberish but it was still decipherable, Chatalis accepted it as a means of payment. So it was kind of like his lyrics. The dessert was Cobain's last known meal before he took his own life on April 5th. Michael Hutchence rose to fame as the singer and co-founder of the Australian rock group INXS. The group secured their place in rock history with songs like Need You Tonight, Devil Inside, Never Tear Us Apart, and New Sensation, among others. Hutchence was on tour in Sydney, Australia, in November of 1997. He spent the day of November 21st rehearsing and reportedly in great spirits. His father and stepmother were set to join him for dinner that night. They went to an Indian restaurant in Edgecliff, not far from Hutchence's hotel, the Ritz-Carlton. Hutchence ordered an entree that included crab meat mixed with chili, ginger, and onions, all of which were then stuffed into potato skins. Chili crab potato skins. Apparently Guy Fieri was the chef that night. After the group was done eating, Hutchence had several drinks at the bar of his hotel before going to his room, where he took his own life on November 22nd. Known as the King of Pop, Michael Jackson was easily one of the most famous, successful, and influential musicians in the history of, well, history? Or his story, if you're asking Michael. After his time with the Jackson 5, Jackson recorded countless hits like Beat It, Thriller, Billie Jean, and so many more. Jackson passed away suddenly on June 25, 2009. At the time of his death, Jackson's personal chef was preparing the singer's lunch in the kitchen, a traditional meal of healthy foods like turkey breast and vegetables. But Jackson never got to eat it. His chef had served him his final meal the night before, seared ahi tuna, a salad, and a glass of carrot and orange juice. According to the chef, he smiled and put his hands together for a prayer and said, "Thank you. God bless you." Shortly after dining on ahi tuna, the King of Pop moonwalked into the next world. So what do you think? What would you want for your last meal? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, check out some of these other videos from our weird history.